My name is Blake and welcome to my YouTube channel,
9 to 5 Investing.
Today, I want to talk about a public company that you can buy shares in that is working to solve a problem that affects 34 million people in the United States alone. This very same company has actually seen a 30% decrease in their share price since December 10th, 2019, with almost no change in the underlying fundamentals. As of January 31st, 2020, this company has a market capitalization of $1.28 billion, but they might actually have the solution to a $35 billion problem. The company that I'm talking about is Madrigal Pharmaceuticals. Be sure to watch all the way until the end of the video, because if you do, I will share with you one invaluable tip that will be extremely useful if you're looking to invest in biotech companies.
9 to 5 Investing.
If you enjoy videos like this one, please subscribe, because I will be releasing new videos about investments that I think are interesting in the market Mondays at 5:09, so stay tuned, guys. Madrigal Pharmaceutical stock has been absolutely destroyed ever since Bay City Capital, a major shareholder in the company, announced that they were selling 1.2 million of their shares on December 10th, 2019. At first, this news might seem really bad, but Bay City Capital actually only sold out of a fourth of their total position. And on top of that, they are a venture capital firm. So they have a lot of pressure to make consistent annual returns for their investors. That being said, they might just see Madrigal Pharmaceuticals as a company that has major catalysts coming in the coming years, but not as much in the short term. And they might have some better short-term investment opportunities. The news of Bay City Capital selling 1/4 of their position in Madrigal has sent the stock cratering all the way from $120 on December 10th, 2019 to $82 as of January 31st, 2020. This is about a 30% decline.
What?
All because one investor sold a fourth of their position. That just seems a little ridiculous to me. I think that this could be a great buying opportunity. Understand why I think Madrigal Pharmaceuticals could be an ideal investment for the next 3 to 5 years. We must discuss non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and its older, ugly stepsister, nonalcoholic SteatoHepatitis, or short, NASH. If you are enjoying this video so far, please smash the like button, just like I smashed this broken TV that I got off of Craigslist for $10. It really helps the channel because it plays in the YouTube algorithm, and I really appreciate it. So what is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? Well, it's basically a buildup of fat in the liver, and normally fatty liver disease is brought on by excessive drinking, but obviously non-alcoholic liver disease is not caused by alcohol. It is actually caused more by a bad diet and lack of exercise. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is actually the most common chronic liver disease in the United States. And I think that a lot of this comes down to horrible eating habits. You know, it's so much easier to just go to McDonald's, go for the drive-thru real quick, get a couple dollar menu items, and just call it a day instead of cooking something healthy at home. And I think this trend, combined with, and you know, when I say this trend, I mean obesity, combined with a lack of exercise, combined with type 2 diabetes, you really see non-alcoholic fatty liver disease be on the uptrend, unfortunately, in the United States. So even if it does make Madrigal a better investment, it is kind of sad that that's the reality we live in. So unfortunately, this disease is not just isolated to the United States. This disease affects about 1 in 4 people worldwide, according to the NASH education program. So that's crazy. If you think about it, worldwide, on average, 1 in 4 people that you meet are affected by this horrible disease. So now we're gonna be moving on to that ugly stepsister that I had mentioned earlier, non-alcoholic SteatoHepatitis. So I'm going to leave a more drawn out scientific definition of what NASH is for those that are interested. But from an investment standpoint, the main thing you need to know is that NASH is the most severe form of non-alcoholic fatty liver syndrome, and it has some pretty horrible symptoms like inflammation and something called hepatocellular ballooning. To help us understand the trends with non-alcoholic fatty liver syndrome's ugly stepsister NASH, we're gonna do a lightning round. What percentage of the worldwide population does NASH affect? So it is very hard to get an exact number on this one, but the NASH Education Project, basically using a variety of methodologies, has determined that between 1.5 and 6.45% of the worldwide population suffers from non-alcoholic fatty liver syndrome's ugly stepsister, NASH. Blake, how much is NASH supposed to grow in the near future? Let's say maybe the next 10 years. So according to the NASH Education Project, NASH will grow 63% between 2015 and 2030. Does NASH cause a lot of people to get liver transplants? So another unfortunate truth that the NASH Education Project reports on is that NASH will most likely become the most common reason to get a liver transplant by 2030. So NASH is kind of like heart disease in the sense that it is a silent killer. And really, the symptoms for NASH do not come up until it is really too late most of the time. Now, with all the relevant trends that we have talked about in mind, consider this one very relevant fact. There is no drug currently on the market that can eliminate the fat buildup. So that's where Madrigal Pharmaceuticals, the company that I mentioned near the beginning of this video, comes into play. There is no drug that can effectively treat NASH yet on the market, and really the whole point of Madrigal Pharmaceuticals as a company is they're looking to develop resmetirom. They're liver-directed and once-daily pill that basically aims to treat NASH by increasing hepatic fat metabolism and reducing lipotoxicity. Madrigal Pharmaceuticals actually published a phase 2 study that showed resmetirom reducing liver fat with no severe side effects. This was actually published in the Lancet, which is a very prestigious peer-reviewed medical journal. Late last year, the Food and Drug Administration approved Madrigal Pharmaceuticals' fast-track designation request for resmetirom for NASH. If you combine the fact that Madrigal Pharmaceuticals had their phase 2 study published in the Lancet with the FDA's fast-track designation, it can be reasonably assumed that there is a lot of promise behind resmetirom for treating NASH patients. And as we had talked about earlier in the video, there is a lot of need. So what is next for Madrigal Pharmaceuticals and their very promising drug, resmetirom? Well, they're already enrolling for 2 phase 3 studies. These phase 3 studies are called Maestro NAFLD and Maestro NASH. And basically, they're doing these studies on a much wider scale than the phase 2 studies. And they're trying to see if this drug works with patients that have much more advanced symptoms of NAFLD and NASH. These trials are on a much bigger scale than the phase 2 trials, so top line results would be a very big deal. According to CNBC, the global market for NASH is about $35 billion, according to industry experts. As of January 31st, 2020, Madrigal Pharmaceuticals only has a market capitalization of $1.28 billion. Just think about that for a minute. The company that has potentially the best compound for treating NASH is worth only a fraction of the market that it one day could corner. And typically, guys, biotech companies will trade at 15 times profits or so. Will Madrigal Pharmaceuticals ever be able to bring resmetirom to the open market without having some sort of a secondary offering, or even worse, going bankrupt and leaving us shareholders with nothing? If the science holds up, then absolutely, because Madrigal Pharmaceuticals has a uniquely high amount of cash in short-term investments and no debt. So Madrigal Pharmaceuticals has about $453 million in cash and short-term investments as of their last quarterly filing, which was as of September 30th, 2019. And This should last them about 11 years at a current cash burn rate of 10 million per quarter. This major pile of cash is a huge advantage to Madrigal Pharmaceuticals, and it is a huge advantage to the shareholders. Why is it a huge advantage to the shareholders? Because we don't have to worry about any secondary offerings. So why do companies do this secondary dilutive offering? Well, it's basically because a lot of times biotech companies do not have any products on the market. They are just trying to get their product to the market. So therefore they do not have the revenues and profits to sustain themselves. And basically the last resort thing that they can do, a lot of times they can't get dead either. They'll go and they'll dilute the current ownership in the company by offering more shares. And because this move dilutes the current shareholders 10 times out of 10, it'll make the stock price crater. Just this last week on February 5th, I saw Zyopharm Oncology, which I think also has some pretty promising science, but they actually had a secondary offering and it sent their shares cratering. So if you are looking to invest in Madrigal Pharmaceuticals, if you're looking to invest in resmetirom, you do not have to worry about secondary offerings. Most likely, it would make no sense for the company to do it right now. There's no reason to dilute the current investors because they have plenty of cash. So that is a huge advantage and a huge thing that I look for in biotech companies in general. If I'm looking to invest, I ask myself, do they have cash? Because I like to avoid those secondary offerings at any cost. Well, congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. And just as promised, I will reveal my invaluable tip number 3. So my invaluable tip for you is do not invest in biotechnology companies that do not have a proven product on the market if you are looking for lower risk investments. Guys, this type of investing is not for the faint of heart. And I should also probably have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but I am not an investment advisor. You should talk to a professional about that. This is just for entertainment purposes only. But at the end of the day, I'm 25. If I were to lose, a couple grand investing in this kind of a company, it's not gonna destroy me. If I'm like 60, looking to retire soon, I would not be putting money into a company like this. The thing is about being 25 is if this stock works out and I triple my money, then I will be able to compound that for like 40 years before I retire. Something like that. I mean, I hope I'm able to work that long because I love working, but I'll be able to compound that for a very long time. And if I end up losing my money, let's say resmetirom is a total flop and it doesn't make it to the open market and Madrigal Pharmaceuticals loses 80% of its value, well, that hurts me, but it's not the end of my world. Now, on the other hand, guys, I do think that positive phase 3 results could easily triple the stock overnight. But again, it just all comes down to personal risk tolerance. Do not invest in something like this if you're not willing to lose money potentially. The thing is, for me, with my personal risk tolerance, I'm okay with it. Thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Please hit that subscribe button and maybe even the notification bell if you're feeling really crazy, because I will be coming out with tons of videos about biotech stocks, technology stocks. Pinterest is a video idea I have soon. There are so many stocks that I'm going to be making analysis on. I'm just a little bit busy with my normal job right now because we are in busy season until March. But as soon as that's over, I'm gonna roll out tons of videos. If there are any that you want to request me doing an analysis on, just let me know. I will do it. And yeah, have a great day.